Hello everybody, and welcome back to those of you that are joining me again. Great big hello to those of you who are joining me new. It's just a bit of a gameplay update, cutting into this new coal seam here with the bulldozer. Thought I'd do a bit of a demonstration of how I go about business with this. So yeah, just picking the starting point for this cut. I think it'll be about here, and I'm just gonna shove the material back in that direction. First cut's just a marker really. Get a bit of a line going. Starting to cut a bit much now, but it'll all turn out in the wash. Hopefully it'll erase some of these dang trees as well. They're everywhere. So I started that cut like that. Going to back up a bit more. Doing it again. Laid down a bit. Okay. I don't really want to go much deeper than the blade up at the top end. Down at this end is going to be rammed, so that's a different matter. What I'm doing, you can't really see it, but I am gently rotating the blade between cut and carry, so that it just gently carries the material out of this cut down that way. So I start with it on full cut, get in a bit, and gently tap shift until the blade sort of levels out in the cut. Starts to climb out, you'll know, because you'll start to accelerate. You'll get kicks like that. That's material popcorning under the tracks. This one's more vulnerable to it than the one with skinny tracks, I think. I'm not convinced, they might just be cosmetic. But the one on skinnier tracks does seem to be a little bit more manoeuvrable and less prone to the popcorning thing. So tough call. I'm sure there is an answer sat somewhere in the Discord, but I can't be bothered to go through that much stuff. There's a lot been written there since then, you know. It's a long way back down the lists, not very well pinned. So I think I'm going to have to extend this to make it into a nice ram. So going about here. Full dig on, try not to steer when you're digging because it off-centers the blade and stops you being level. Yeah, and we'll take it through about there. Take the other angle out a bit as well. Starting to build up into a nice little ramp now. You just want to take it slow, nice and easy. Keep cutting thin sections until you've got some space to work, really. That's what this manoeuvre's all about, is getting a little bit of space to work. So now I've angled black blade back a little bit. If you're using the blade assist, obviously you just switch between cut and carry, but I like the control that the manual gives me. I think it's the better option for the more advanced player. If you're just messing about, then yeah, stick it in auto blade and go for it, you know. Keep an eye on your frames per second. If you see them starting to drop, save. Because you're heading for an engine crash. It's there's some kind of problem in the Unreal Engine. I'm not sure what it is. I'm not a programmer, but it does appear that these crashes are common to Unreal games. not just out of ore. It seems to be when a lot of particles generated. You could say all voxel games really, because the same thing happens in a couple of other games. So realistically, I don't think that this one's any game designers or developers' fault. This one's a genuine, yeah, there's a problem with hardware and how it's being managed. Let me know your experiences if you're playing the game when bulldozing or generating a lot of these particles of soil, these big rocks that fly around. What's your frames per second doing? What's your machine doing? Are you having crashes? Let me know in the comments, because like there's plenty of people doing it on the Discord, but if I can save poor Christian going through that lot by filtering it a bit for him and giving a coherent report from everybody, that'd go an amazing way to helping the guys improve the game, I should think. I don't know, I mean, if I'm doing something wrong or if they don't like what I'm doing, I'm sure they'll someone will let me know. But I just want to see this game get better. I love it. I think it's great. Pretty boring, this bulldozing. You know, been at it for 6 minutes now and we've opened up this sort of ramp type affair. But it's probably the quickest way to move this amount of material out of this gap. I tried digging it earlier just before I had a crash. No surprise, I've been doing a lot of work. I've been doing a lot of building, so yeah, I've shifted my machine down the hill a bit, so it's now near this coal seam, which is at the far end of my mine, away from the sail point. Probably the longest distance I've had a conveyor run, so it'll be an interesting test. It might be that that's caused the crash. I was just starting to run the machine at the time, so we'll see what happens when I get to the point of mining here. So yeah, I'm not even using the GPS, I'm just doing this by eye, just by touch and feel really. I guess if you play enough of this, you'll end up like that. You just eye it up and go, yeah, I'll do that. I'm going to go right in at the back here now for another big cut. Pick up some material. And then shallow it. Carry the material down to the end. And I'm starting to see a little bit of lag on my end when I'm doing this now. So the video could end abruptly, because my machine will crash and end the recording because the program's shut down. Right, that's a nice cut, that's nice and level. Don't want to go any deeper than that now really. I could move a lot slower and make sure that I carry enough particles. Angle the blade back a little. So now I'm in the low gear, gently pushing my way along. Got the blade angled back slightly. Just cleaning up this edge of the cut. I'm not really cutting in the middle, I'm just trying to push along and try and prevent stuff slipping by the side of the blade and popcorning me. It's going to happen, and then I'll have to back up and start again. Starting to off angle there now. Back up and go in again. mess around with some blade angling. Oh, I see. We've hit some pay dirt just there. That's why it's getting firm. Okay. See, I'm just using that side of the hill as a chuck out to push waste material down. It seems like a good option. Same thing down this side. See if I can get this fairly level before I come in and run up and down smoothing like a mad hamster. Started angling the blade over now, just to keep it vaguely level if I can. And I'm levelling to the floor ahead of me. Is the idea of that. So I'll just line up the two textures. Take out of that. And again from somewhere vaguely square. Left. A bit more material there, and then dig in as I get to those floor panels. That should throw it all beyond. Yeah, lovely. Look at that. Now I'm going to back the dozer right up out of this hole at the moment. Somewhere a little bit out of the way. Seems to help to smooth the parking area for them. See how that's chattering? Yeah, it's because I'm using the smoothing tool. And I haven't set the handbrake, but smooth that little area. Park it on that. Seems to help. Stop some chattering around, stop some sliding down hills, stop them doing a few things that are sketchy for a parked vehicle, let's put it like that. Been confused to watch one slowly sliding sideways down a hill towards me before now. And why is that dozer slowly going past me? Why is my excavator doing that under me? They'll get there with it, I'm sure. It's work in progress after all. The name of the game is development. Bit like my channel, and what I talk about, you know, I'm trying to keep it more on the game, because that's what we're here for. You get some interesting effects where the smoothing tool meets tiles sometimes, and where the dirt particles meet tiles. There's some rules you can bend. There's other things that you shouldn't play with. So yeah, we've got this nice little groove, got a bit of pay dirt exposed there. Might need a little bit of tidying up. But I think it'll do for the moment. Could always extend this floor a little. Yeah, I'll do a quick bit of floor extension. I've got the parts, if not I'll have to go and buy some. Yeah, I've got a few of those. Yeah, how to nerf your vehicle. Yeah, if you want to recover a vehicle and you don't have another vehicle nearby, always make sure you've got a block. Because you can use them to flick vehicles around and stuff at the moment, because they're not a ghost image. So you can really yeet a dumper a long way if you want to. I've done it in a small way just as a comedy sketch. I've rolled the dumper more than once when it's overladen. It's an ATV 40. I don't know if that's 40 cubic meters or 40 tons, but I had about, I think, 80 when I tipped that. So yeah, Providence doesn't shine on those who overload. I think I've explained the nodal system that this construction works on pretty well, but the corner you look at is the corner you fit it to. and then you can hold down the left mouse and move it left and right to rotate. You can also zoom in and out in the third person view, probably on the mouse wheel as well, but it takes forever. And that sort of sets the range that if you're looking in air that you lay the part. So that can be kind of handy to know. So there's a little gem for those that survive 15 minutes of bulldozing. You know what I'm going to do at this moment? Save. Something to remember in development games, save again and again and again. Now I must do another backup save as well. Because we've had another update, a little one. Little explosives update yesterday, I believe. I need to test those out again. I am a bit of a pyro at heart. I try not to indulge it. It's classed as not acceptable in the modern age. But, you know. So I've built this access ramp to get me around back to those seams up there if I want to. But I think for video purposes we should really test this equipment. So I'm going to reverse over here and wipe out these trees. I'm going to have to get under there and bury them at some point. There's this nice section of coal seam where this ramp was. So I think I'll leave that one alone for the moment. Go over here and start taking out material here for this one. Probably the way to play. So let's go start up some machinery. Look at the machine, press Q, or whichever button you've got assigned instead of Q from the standard. And you just click the buttons in the right order from left to right or right to left if you're turning them on and off. So to turn them on is left to right, turn them off is right to left. So yeah, we've got Stone Crusher running, got a few bits and pieces running. I've also got a tree through a hopper which could be interesting. We'll see how that goes. So yeah, first thing about this is it's normally best to be sort of square to something when you start your cuts, because then eventually you'll get level. So if you can be square to the slope, get that GPS relatively level, something like that. There we go. And how deep to go? Probably about there. So I'm just going to try and cut a level in, and the reason for this is so I can get actually in with the machine a bit later on something that's level ground. So yeah, this is just going to be dirt going through the machinery. Interesting test for my chuck out mechanisms, but not much else. Well, doesn't seem to affect how the hopper works, so I can live with it for the moment. I'll get under there later on with a machine and tidy that up. Yeah, we're going again there. It may seem crazy, I just smoothed all that area and stuff and now I'm going to cover it in muck, but this is the name of the game. It gets muddy. So yeah, you're probably wondering why I've got this nice smooth area and then a ramp and then I'm cutting another ramp. Essentially, it's backup. If you destroy one ramp by accident, you've got another. Secondly, this is just a test. It looks like everything's running correctly, so I'm not too worried about the material that's going through at the moment. So cut a bit more step here. The reason I didn't cut this step from the ramp is it would have immediately put the entire floor on an angle, so that would have been annoying, as I've learned from previous step cutting incidents. So you always go in from the same direction, always try and take the bit that protrudes the most. You see I'm uneven there at the moment, how dodgy that was, but it was kind of handy because it threw a bit of muck out that wasn't attached to the load block. So yeah, I haven't followed my own rules. I didn't clear the landscape underneath my hoppers, and look at the result. So there's your lesson, people. Ground working. Ground working. It's important. And on the subject, just level some of this out because it's a little bit rucky. It always is when you start one of these off. The other reason I did it like that is it demonstrates the method when operating in sort of like more natural environments, like when you're spelunking, really. So now we've got a bit of level access there, so we can sort of get the front end round and get these wheels onto an area that's a little bit more level. There we go. And slowly but surely, by cutting out on the levels like this, so there's the bucket level, you cut out a flat area to work on. Once you've got that, the seam is your oyster, I guess, would be the best way of putting it in mining terms. The seam is your oyster. And that's a crash. Oh no, no, that's not a crash. Impressive. That was a lockup, and I don't know why. Might have been textural based, might have been memory based, might be that I need to verify my files. Or it might be because I've got a tree growing through a hopper. So yeah, I need to work a bit on how I lay out these machines for video purposes, obviously, when it comes to relative trees. We're just going to take another smoothing incident here. And because I don't want to do this annoying cutting again, we're also going to do another save. And so yeah, everything logs up when you save. It'll be interesting to see whether I've been cut to bits by all this lagging. There we go. Yeah, so if I've been cut to bits by all the lagging, it's because I was saving. It may have cut into the audio, though last time I had a crash, it kept everything, so we'll see what goes on. Looking forward to the next more stable version with the soil rework and everything. That'll be awesome. Like, I can wait for new machinery and stuff. I've got plenty to play with here. There's a lot of landscape. New machinery might mean new stuff. Right. Notice how it was deleting the dirt without really generating much there. It's annoying. There we go. Yeah, we're starting to cut our way through to this coal seam now, which is sort of the aim of the game here. See what happens when I cut into it this time. We get the lag again. Take that out. Sometimes it's best to just not try for too much and to go again, because you just end up chewing around with a bucket and destroying loads of the seam. Sometimes I wonder whether there's a bug that if there's something in the bucket it stops stuff from generating, but it might just be down to bucket angle and the fact that normally when it happens the vehicle's all over the place, so to prevent this, vehicles do roll more than they used to. It's good. Just pulled up without the handbrake on and I'm sort of thinking, it's probably enough of a slope behind it, but maybe not. Better do something about that. So we'll try getting in on this middle bit. As I was saying, take the bit that sticks out. I'm just going to oscillate him back and forth. I think this might be time to get the 500 out, you know. this is acting a little tough. Maybe I'm just screwing up by the numbers, who knows. But there's a lot more gear going over to that crusher, so that's a good sign. A little look-see and see what's going out. There's stuff going out of it too. Excellent. I'm just going to take a quick run over there and see whether I can't spot some of this coal going through. So we've got coal there. That same blasted rock, crushed rock. But we've got coal there. So down here we've got coal coming through the crusher. That's a good sign. Okay, so stuff does go through the crusher. Awesome. I'd been wondering about what happens to the valuable materials. So now we know. Coming up in half an hour, I'm going to try and keep it to that today. So yeah, I'm going to keep cutting this seam out and just chucking it in the conveyors and seeing what kind of profits we get for it. Keep an eye on the top left. Keep on not looking when it appears. Yeah, you see. Reasonable figures. Thinking I should perhaps have gone deeper on this cut, you know. Maybe I will just cut in off the floor and stay at that height. See how it goes. I might just be being inept. Might also try and bulldoze it into piles and see what happens. It is mainly top cover and soil. Oh, that's kind of handy. So the rocks will take that tree out. That's kind of nice. Let's try going in there. Let's get rid of this junk. Probably get a full bucket full of this because it's junk. Yeah, straight away. Yeah, so perhaps coal seams are tougher. Don't know. Haven't taken out much coal with this 501. I did it mostly with the bulldozer last time, so would have been broken up. But, everything on my machinery appears to be working quite nicely. By no longer putting the dirt into the grizzly to get the missions, it has improved lag immensely, so I'd recommend not cheating the missions by pumping dirt. Do it by dumper. Let's see if I can actually get some coal this time. Don't want to play ball in that, that's for sure. Interesting. Might have to bring the 500 over here for a test later on. See how that goes. Maybe bulldoze this seam into a pile. Might try that. Ah, way. Railings, people. A friend of mine always asks me, why is it alien buildings and stuff in computer games have never got railings on the hydrops? Because they're built by lazy builders like me. Who don't put handbrakes on vehicles when they get out of them. Really got to get out of that habit. It's going to cost me dear one day on a mountainside at a lithium scene. Right, bucket level, slide it down. This should gather material. Well, reasonable I suppose, but maybe I should be digging in deeper with it. So yeah, I've been double hopper loading here in no particular order. Haven't really thought about it at all. So let's just have a quick look at the machinery. The nearest one is the one I just loaded. I've still got 340. That one's filling up. So yeah, you can run 2 hoppers into 2 sorting drums quite easily at close range. Just keep the cycle times down. You'll move large volumes of material. They're like, I can't explain how much material you end up moving, other than to say that it's quite significant. 16 tons a bucket in the 501 roughly, if you get a full bucket full. So you can get through quite a significant volume of material very quickly in a situation like this where the cycle time is nothing. I'll zoom out a little. So yeah, this hole has, other than the topsoil that I bulldozed off in one of the bulldozer bullying video, is pretty much all loader work. So yeah, I have big plans. They're going to get bigger. I'm going to leave the video there. Yeah, so this is Mr. JP. Thank you very much for watching. Been a bit crazy, but yeah, if you've got through it, well done. Well done, everybody, and thank you for your support. Have a brilliant evening, and I will catch you in my next video. Have a good one. Bye-bye.